What if the people you trust are quietly using you to climb higher? What if every smile, every word, every promise was nothing more than a move in a hidden game? Everywhere we turn, ambition collides with human vulnerability. Some people charm effortlessly, influence subtly, and achieve goals that leave others wondering, how did they do it? And at what cost? These are the minds shaped by Machiavellian thinking, a blend of strategy, cunning, and emotional detachment. The roots of this mindset trace back to Renaissance Italy, where Niccolò Machiavelli observed the mechanics of power in Florence. He concluded that rulers who bent the rules deceived, and manipulated were the ones who survived, while the virtuous often fell. Centuries later, modern psychology borrowed his name to describe a personality style where the ends justify the means, where personal gain eclipses ethical restraint. To such a mind, life is not a garden of trust, but a chessboard of opportunity. Each interaction is a potential move to advance one's position. Goals are supreme. People are instruments valuable only while they serve a purpose. And when their role is complete, they may be cast aside without hesitation or remorse. This mindset thrives on relentless ambition. Every thought, every gesture, every decision serves a single aim: the pursuit of power, wealth, influence, or recognition. To achieve this, Machiavellian individuals wield manipulation like a finely honed blade, charming, flattering, and deceiving with precision. Outwardly, they appear composed and even gracious. Inwardly, they are calculating, weighing each risk, anticipating each consequence, crafting each move with the patience of a strategist. Underlying all of this lies a cynical vision of human nature. To them, trust is not a sacred bond, but a dangerous weakness. Empathy is rationed, emotions compartmentalized, so that nothing interferes with the ultimate objective. This is why their decisions feel unnervingly deliberate, never impulsive, always risk-assessed, always aligned with long-term gain. Their gift is social insight, an almost uncanny ability to read others, discern vulnerabilities, and adapt tactics for maximum effect. From childhood into adulthood, this pattern can emerge as a distinct strategy, what psychologists describe as an antisocial style of survival. But philosophy asks us to look deeper. Is this not the extreme face of instrumental rationality, where every human relationship is reduced to a function, a tool, a mechanism? In this light, Machiavellianism becomes more than psychology. It becomes a mirror reflecting the cost of ambition when stripped of compassion. In daily life, Machiavellian traits rarely announce themselves openly. They creep into the subtle details. At work, they appear in political maneuvering, in whispered strategies that quietly undermine colleagues, or in the slow but deliberate positioning of oneself at the expense of others. In social spaces, they emerge as practiced charm, the artful use of flattery, or the manipulation of personal secrets for influence. And in intimate relationships, the effects are most devastating. Control, disguised as care. Gaslighting hidden as concern. Love weaponized as a means of dominance. What binds all of this together is the instrumental view of others. People are not ends in themselves, but stepping stones, levers, and pawns. Machiavelli, the philosopher, described this dynamic as the price of survival in a treacherous world. But modern psychology shows us its cost in human terms. For those entangled in such relationships, the aftermath is often disorientation, betrayal, and a haunting sense of having been used. Yet understanding these patterns is not an act of despair, it is an act of clarity. By recognizing them, we learn not only to protect ourselves, but also to reflect on the deeper philosophical question: how much of this strategy lives quietly within each of us? And what does it mean to balance self-interest with the ethical obligations of empathy and trust? Machiavellianism is only one part of a larger shadow psychologists call the Dark Triad, 3 traits that, together, reveal the darker architecture of human behavior. Machiavellianism is the strategist, cold, deliberate, manipulative. Narcissism is the mirror, seeking admiration, craving validation, inflating the self at any cost. Psychopathy is the void, marked by recklessness, a lack of empathy, and disregard for any moral boundary. When these traits converge in a single personality, the result is volatile and often destructive. They can exploit vulnerabilities, disrupt lives, and leave behind emotional or even physical harm. But here lies the subtlety. Each trait operates differently. The Machiavellian calculates long-term gain. The narcissist hungers for immediate praise, and the psychopath acts without pause or conscience. Philosophically, this triad confronts us with a dilemma. How do we define virtue when the most cunning often thrive? Machiavelli himself admitted that the virtuous rarely survive unscathed in the arenas of power. The triad then becomes not just a psychological construct, but a commentary on human ambition itself, its brilliance, its danger, and its ethical cost. Countering someone shaped by Machiavellian tendencies can be profoundly disorienting. Their charm is convincing, their intelligence magnetic, and yet beneath the surface lies a quiet erosion of trust. The fallout is felt only later, once their goals are met and their masks no longer needed. The first defense is recognition, seeing the patterns for what they are, without denial or overreaction. The second is emotional detachment, not the coldness of cynicism, but the clarity to understand that their manipulation is a strategy, not a reflection of your worth. Third comes self-care, protecting your emotional, physical, and professional boundaries so they cannot be eroded. Finally, limiting interaction becomes a way of safeguarding your autonomy, not weakness, but wisdom. Philosophically, this mirrors Machiavelli's own paradox, the tension between virtue and survival. To live ethically is not to abandon strategy, but to redefine it, to practice awareness, clarity, and integrity as forms of strength in a world where manipulation thrives. The Machiavellian mind is a mirror held up to ambition, dazzling in its strategy, but dangerous when stripped of compassion. History and psychology both remind us that power pursued without reflection can lead not only to domination, but also to emptiness, isolation, and eventual downfall. Yet perhaps the greatest lesson is this: ambition does not have to come at the cost of empathy. Strategy can walk hand in hand with virtue. Success need not demand the abandonment of humanity. Maybe the true art of living is not to reject cunning altogether, but to balance it, using awareness to defend ourselves from manipulation while holding fast to empathy, compassion, and integrity. Have you ever encountered a Machiavellian personality, or noticed traces of it in yourself? Share your reflections in the comments below.